What up, what up, what up, what up, y'all? Welcome, welcome, welcome. Let me see. I'm going to try something real quick. I'm going to see if I can add this to the stage with me. Okay, and okay, it's getting goofy. All right, add to stage. There it is. All right. I'm assuming you guys can hear me. I've actually tried to just type in some things in my chat, and it keeps on rejecting the comment. Not sure what that's about, but that's neither here nor there. We're gonna keep going anyway. All right, y'all. So listen, tonight not gonna be on here long because I have something else I need to be doing tonight. But um, I'm gonna be on here to really talk about a recent comment that was made on my b-boy video, and it brought up the whole, Batch said what he said, and then I told them go check the video that I already made speaking about what Batch meant, and then they referred to Rubie Dee. So we're gonna kill all of this for the last time. This particular conversation, we're gonna dead this right now tonight. We're gonna dead this. This is gonna be done. Okay. What I'm gonna show you tonight is I'm going to show you the interview that everybody keeps using, the little clip where Batch says Puerto Ricans didn't create hip hop. And then I'm going to show you another interview that he does where he says the same thing. He just words it Latinos. And then he's going to clarify what he's talking about. And I want to take you through that video. And then we're going to watch another video from Batch where he clearly describes TT Rock and what TT Rock did and did not do. Again, we're going to kill all this noise tonight. And then we're going to end with the Rubie Dee interview, where he was just on the Oral Hip Hop History Project. And we're going to talk about what he said when he said hip hop was a black thing. We're going to hear clearly what was he talking about. And those are the things that we have to get clear. That's what we need clarity on. So I want to make sure people are able to comment in the chat. And so far, I'm not seeing any comments, and my comments are getting rejected. So something is going on, very strange. But I'm going to try and see what that is. This has never happened before, but that's okay. But if you cannot comment for some reason, okay, I see a comment here. You know, Andres 83. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Let me let some more people comment. Come on in. Let me see if I can just respond to Andres and see if it allows me to respond to him. Let me see. Nope, it keeps on rejecting my comment. And I'm not sure why. It's saying they think it's spam. Try changing it a bit. All I'm saying is welcome. So something funny is going on, but that's not going to detract me. I'm good. We're going to just keep going. All right. So if I don't respond to you in the comments, I'll have to reach out to YouTube and find out why this is happening. But anyway, let's not digress. Let's not lose focus. This is a once and for all talk about Batch and his statement. We're going to talk about Batch and him talking about TT Rock. And we're going to talk about what Rubie Dee said in a recent interview. So sit back, relax. I am going to come in from time to time and comment on the video and I'm praying that everybody could hear me. Let me know in the comments if you can hear my voice, if you can hear me. Just let me know in the comments if you can hear me. I just need to know before I go any further. Let me know, let me know, let me know. Got about 20 people in the building. All right, we're just going to go. We're just going to go. I'm not going to wait and see. We're just going to go. All right, so I'm going to share my screen. And we're going to go to the first video. We're going to share. We're going to go here. Thanks, brother, for all that you do. And
hold on. Brother, hold up right there. Hold up right there. Thank you for being a voice, with all respects, to my Puerto Rican people and culture. Puerto Ricans didn't start hip-hop at all. My African American brothers created hip-hop.
Okay, so this is the usual video, the usual clip that people continue to use after all this time, when I have already created a video showing, which I'm going to show right now, what Batch clarified. And in fact, I spoke to Batch when he made this comment. I spoke to Batch the very next day. And so, yeah, he clarified for me what he was talking about. He was talking about the rap music industry. That's what he was talking about. Okay, so I want to make sure people understand that. All right. Lavelle 119. Let me know, brother. Can you hear me? I see you said 5 by 5. I'm not sure what that means. Let me know if you can hear me. Lavelle 119. Let me know if you can hear me. Okay, let me know if you can hear me. 5 by 5, not sure what that means. If anybody can help with why I might be getting my comments rejected by YouTube, I'm not sure why that's happening, but it's happening. So anyway, we're going to keep going, and let's just hope for the best. Here we go.
Nobody can tell me Latinos created hip hop. That's not going to happen, because we didn't create hip hop. Because everything that we create, it has to have a constant pattern, in order for you to really claim it legitimately. Like, for example, if you look back, if somebody want to debate, it was Latino that started rap. So we do a little history check. We go from Ron DMC all the way up to Tupac and so forth. And then you look at the whole majority of the people that was rapping, that was African Americans. So you can't try to say that Latinos started rapping, because we did not create rapping. I mean, it is obvious. There's a pattern. It's there. You can see it through history.
Well, y'all was there, but we're trying to chase.
But check this out. So, yes, we did have Latino rappers, but we was not the majority. The rappers, those are the element. That element strictly belongs to our brothers, the African American brothers. You cannot take that shit away from them, period. Try to do a 360-degree turn in the air from an up rock move. But when he tried to do that, his balance went off. So we're looking at this motherfucker, he's all the way up there, like his feet is right here. And now he's like this, like when somebody's gonna do a dunk, but he's falling backwards.
Right.
And we was like, oh shit. He's gonna break his fucking head. So when he falls, what happens when you ever seen somebody when they slip on ice, black ice? What's the first thing you do?
Right.
Do anything not to fall and break your ass. If you look at a lot of those falls, you got an old lady. She looks like she's doing a little footwork. They got a newspaper. I took that article to demonstrate people how this dance came about. The old lady looked like she was rocking, but really she was protecting herself. So little Titi Rock did that. So he shuffled his feet. He did some crazy moves. So we looked at him, and he looked at us, and we just all started busting out laughing because that shit was so funny the way he did it.
Right.
So what I did was, I threw myself literally on the floor to try. What kids do when we want to make somebody mad, right? If you fall, we're gonna imitate that. Right, we're gonna imitate. So I'm on the floor trying to imitate his fall, right? And people were laughing. Then little Israel, little Lion, and all those guys. My man Spidey, Scorpio, all of these guys. They got down on the floor. And they started doing all this crazy shit and laughing at Titi. And Titi looked at us and said, "You know what, guys? I ain't going nowhere today. I'm going to go to my house and eat something." And then, yo, you almost broke your ass. You know, that's the only thing we got to get off with him because he was a very accomplished kid. He
never really fucked up.
He was the type of kid that he was serious about shit. So when you joke around, you better know that it was acceptable. So he didn't pay us no mind. He broke out. Little did we know that mistake, that 360 turn from Titi Rock hitting the floor, little do we know that this was gonna become a motherfucking global sensational dance art form that the media now calls breakdancing. So I'm not trying to hog anything up. But during my times coming up as a b-boy, most of the people that was doing the b-boys was Latinos.
Did you hear what he just said? During my time coming up as a b-boy, most of the people were Latinos. So he's clearly making a differentiation between what he called hip hop, which he meant rap. Rap was created by the African Americans, not hip hop culture as a whole. So when he says we didn't create that, he's talking about rap music. We'll get to TT Rock in a minute because I know what people are saying. Oh, he fell on the floor and then Batch said it was from that breaking came. No. He fell on the floor and they took the fall and they saw that and they developed what would come to be known as footwork, floor rocking. Them, not TT Rock. You're going to hear in the interview with I'm sorry, not the interview, but the speech that Batch gives about TT Rock. You're going to hear him clearly talk about what TT Rock did and what he did not do. Let's continue.
And check this out. All that shit that B-Boy was around and you know, with the culture in 73, that's not truth. I'm sorry. It's not true. And then you got these brothers, they call themselves the first generation B-Boy. They're some old cool guys. I don't got nothing against them. But they said that they started that too the same day that DJ created everything in the house.
Right.
But my thing is this. I could show you hundreds of pictures from the 70s. Most of the B-boys, just like rapping, most of the rapping is, you know, Morenos, and then you got a couple of Latinos. Same thing with the B-boy thing, the opposite around this time zone.
Okay. So now you clearly just heard from Batch and what Batch said. So there's nothing left to say with using that particular video where he says Latinos didn't create hip hop, African American. He was clearly talking about rap music. He wasn't talking about hip hop culture. And in this particular video, he just literally said that the African Americans had MCing and the Latinos were the ones who had breaking, b-boying. But this doesn't mean Latinos created b-boying, created breaking. It was done by both Black and Latinos, Black and New Yorkers. So I hope this puts that to rest. Batch has already just spoken. He spoke. Now, let's listen to an audio that Batch sent to me speaking about TT Rock. And I hope that this puts the TT Rock conversation to rest once and for all. Let's listen.
Let's start off with TT Rock's history. TT Rock, who was a graffiti artist, who was an up rocker, who moved from the St. Mary's Park area in the Bronx to the Tremont sections in the Bronx back in the days. How did he become a part of us? It's a beautiful question. I met TT Rock when he moved from his neighborhood, which was like all the way in the south, from the St. Mary area. His mother wanted to move because he was having problems in his building with another young kid over a girl. There was always fighting. So when he moved over to the Tremont section, the Mohegan section around that area, this is how I got to meet this extraordinary young man who was not just a graffiti artist, not just an up rocker, but he was also an amazing, talented young man who loved to play basketball. He was African American. He liked to hang out with Puerto Rican people at the time because he had some complications in getting along with his own kind, according to what he told me. So he was one of a special young man who appreciated the Latino culture as graffiti artists and up rock. In 1975, we was up rocking in 129 Pool. This is before any of these other guys that came through in 76. Because my mother had moved to 180th and Mohegan, and that little spot in 129 Mace Pool, the school was right there and they had a pool. That attracted me to that area. So this is where we used to meet up late at night to up rock with our little radios, and this is where we will wait until it get dark so we could go write graffiti late at night, whether it was in the trains. For most part, it was the buses that we used to bomb as graffiti artists to become famous. So I got the privilege to meet TT Rock in 1975, tagging up on the wall. And he said, "Yo, that's Batch." I said, "Yeah, bro, what's up?" Just like I met Cash and Shark on Tremont Avenue, tagging up in the gates back in 1974 when I used to see the tags. Graffiti artists recognize people that get up. So I got to meet TT Rock, and I introduced TT Rock to Cash and Shark, God let them rest in peace, and a lot of other kids that came before the other members of TBB. So when I met TT Rock, he told me all about himself, how he moved, how his mother moved from St. Mary's Park area to where I was living at, which was more like a upper south Bronx. Mohegan, Tremont. You had all these neighborhoods right around that area. Cotrona. You had Daly Avenue. All these places where the Bronx Boys rocking crew history starting to be established. T.T. Rock, not only that he was a good up rocker, because that's what he told me. He grew up with watching the Outlaws do this dance, just like me. I was introduced to it with the Claremont Boys, Karate Chino, Karate Pete, all of these people around my neighborhood, the Belmont Park, the St. Mary's Park, which is going back to the boys' clubs back in the days. That's where T.T. Rock came from. We had Bosco, badass up rocker, amazing guys. This is what we used to do. We used to up rock. There wasn't no b-boying in 73, 74 until 75. So what happens next was that when T.T. Rock went to do a 360 degree in the air from an up rock move, because he was a good basketball player, and at the same token, he mixed his up rock how he used to play basketball. He went to do a 360 degree in the air. And as he was doing that, he falling back. He was a tall kid. As he was falling back, we saw that he was not be able to control his moves to come back to where he could stand firm, where he could land perfectly on his two legs. Instead, he fell to the ground. Once he fell to the ground, what happens when we fall? When we slip on ice, on snow, on rain, or just coming down the steps and you slip, the first thing we try to do is we try to protect ourselves from getting injured, right? Does that make any sense? So as T.T. Rock went down, he did these awkward moves on the floor. And we looking at him, and we was like, almost like with our eyes wide open, thinking he was going to get hurt, but he didn't. Those little moves he did on the floor, like almost like what you see today in b-boying, right? Same thing if you see an old lady falling on the grass or on the snow or on slippery elements. Any one of us, we try to use our hands and our feet not to get hurt. So when T.T. Rock fell and we saw that he didn't got hurt, we looked at him and we just started laughing. And jokingly, like I said in many of my commentaries many years ago, which you could Google them, we threw ourselves on the floor and started mimicking something that we wouldn't even know years later what that mistake from T.T. Rock's fall will become, from an up rock to a floor rock. This is why the name of this dance was never called breakdancing. It was called rocking. Why? Because floor rocking was formed by up rock, which the outlaws, most Hispanic outlaws, there was a lot of gangs out there. If you look it up, New York City had hundreds of outlaws out there, and that was their dance in the 70s. And they say it goes back to the 60s. I can't go that far because I wasn't there how up rock came about. It was T.T. Rock's fall. Did he know that this was going to be something that was established and formed by his mistake falling to the floor? No. He will never get to know that, because in 1975, he went back to the St. Mary's Park area. Behind the park, there's buildings over there. He went back over there to see the love of his life, little girl that used to go to school with him and the other kid that lived on the 6th floor somewhere. And that's why his mother, like I said before, have moved out, because they was having drama. So his mother, for her son's sake, moved to the Mohegan, the Cotrona Park, the Tremont area. This is how I met T.T. Rock. The last time I saw T.T. Rock, before I found out 4 or 5 months later that he has passed away when he got stabbed up over the little girl in his building by the other next door neighbor kid that was both in love with the same little girl. Cash put him on right after he put me on, because Cash and Sharp. They put me on the 74 as TBB. Then with my blessing, I introduced Cash and Shark to little TT Rock, African American, cool little brother. My TBB culture always been diverse. You could look up history. We could take it to whenever you want to take it at. Let's take, and I mentioned Jimmy D before, because Jimmy D is African American. So back to TT Rock. This is why I'm restating this fact. TT Rock never knew the b-boy culture. TT Rock never got to see hip-hop culture because they killed him in that same year in 1975. He didn't taught us anything. He didn't taught us how all these moves that came about. And with this, people, I want to say peace, love, unity, and respect to all my people.
Well, well, well. There you have it. TT Rock did not teach them how to break. He didn't teach them anything. So I pray that this would be the last time we address this. But we're going to address one more thing. Now, I am noticing that people's comments are being rejected. That's not something I'm doing. So if you're in here and you can't comment, that's not something I'm doing. I'm not sure. My comments are being rejected as well. So just hang out. I have to find out what's going on. I'm not sure what's going on, but I hope everything's all right, unless somebody's doing some weird things to my channel that doesn't want me to share this information. But we keep going. Here we go. So next, what I want to show you is the interview with Rubie Dee, and I want you to listen carefully about what he's going to say. He's going to say that hip hop is a black thing, but he's going to talk about rap, 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 rap. Just listen to his interview. It's clear about what he's focusing on. And this is the problem that we're having, is that so many people now want to eliminate the other elements and just make it about the MC. The MCs came last. That doesn't mean they're irrelevant. It means they came last. The culture and the elements of the culture were happening. The foundation of the culture are the B-boys. The MCs come last. But let's listen to Rubie and let's get clarity of what he meant by it's a black thing. He's talking about rap music, the MCs. That's what he's talking about. Okay? I'm going to come in and lend commentary from time to time. But here we go. Let me share that screen. Here we go.
Please. I don't like it, but I might have told you not to ask the question, but this controversy about Latinos and hip hop. I'm gonna get a lot of hate mail, a lot of stuff, but man, hip hop is a black thing. That was them. Oh, Kool Herc did a party for his sister.
Right.
And people went and hung out. Then he did another one. So that started rap. Okay, that's what you say? Okay, I'll go with it. Because mind you, if Rubie Dee is the first Latino, right? Or Puerto Rican, and I didn't come into the game to late 76, early 77, but that thing with Kool Herc was August 11th, 1973. That gap there.
Okay, we got to speak to this misconception and this misinformation. See, people continue to want to make Herc's party the um the measuring rod. There is no hip hop at the 1973 party at 1520. There is no hip hop there. Let's just be clear about that. There's nothing hip hop about that party, straight up and down. So let's stop pretending like that was a hip hop party. So he's measuring it wrong. Number one, he's saying, is that when rap began? Did you hear what he said? Is that when rap began? See, he's even saying things that are very confusing. So let's keep listening to some things that he says, because he says, I didn't come in until 76, 77. Well, that makes sense because this is when MCs began, late 76 into 77. Rubie Dee is part of the first generation of the MCs. And speaking of the MCs, we're going to be doing a live on Monday at 7 o'clock about the MCs, another masterclass. But let this be a mini masterclass. So listen to what Rubie is saying. Listen to his language. Okay, he's talking about rap. He's not talking about the culture as a whole. He's talking about rap. But let's keep going.
Were we at the party? Were we dancing? Were we breakdancing along with it? Were we doing graffiti? Yeah. But we were not on stage. We were not on stage. Now, when I say the culture, I mean, yeah, we were there. We were, but
we're blessed to be a part of that culture.
Okay, there you go. Yeah, that's the correct word. We're blessed to be a part of that culture. Did we co-create that culture? I hate to say it, but no, no. Were we there? Did we help the culture? No. Did I say that? I just said the same thing. The rap game, the hip hop. We did not start that.
Did you hear what he just said?
As far as contributing to that,
the rap game.
As artists.
Come on, man.
Artists, we were not. Man,
no.
Then again, like I said, I only say what I saw.
Absolutely, and that's your history, and that's what
that's just my history. And my history started right along the beginning. I remember when the 35 was flashing the 3 MCs. You know what I'm saying? Things like that. And they weren't there. Not on stage. Not on stage.
See, he's making it about the stage.
He helped co-create this thing. I don't know what you mean by it, but you know, I don't.
It is complicated. It is. You got a lot of elements.
Because there's a lot of elements, I guess, to it. But the only element that I see that matters is if you were on stage.
Let's speak to that for a minute. The only element that I see that matters is if you were on stage. Well, the people that were on stage were the MCs, the DJ and the MCs. He's talking about the MCs. He's not talking about the culture as a whole. He just said it. Were we at the parties? He nodded his head, yes. Were we dancing? He nodded his head, yes. Were we breaking? He nodded his head, yes. But we weren't on the stage. See, it's sad that people who lived the culture are not able to properly articulate the history, man. That's what's sad about this whole thing. He's clearly telling you what it was. He considers anything true hip hop to be the MCs. And that's simply false. That's simply false. The MCs are one of the elements. They're not the element. They're not the culture. They are part of the culture. Let's keep going.
If you were a DJ or you were a rapper and you were on stage, you were part of hip hop. Everybody else was there in the crowd and whatnot, blah 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 blah. But I've gone to see the Rolling Stones, and I was on stage. I mean, in the crowd. Did I help the Rolling Stones? You know, like, no, I did not. Yeah, I helped them in their pocket because I paid for the ticket. But and it's hard to.
That is such a poor example. Randy, I got your message. I can't even see yours. I see two people, but I can't see anybody else. So nobody else is showing up. But anyway, that's just a poor example to say that the people in the crowd, you know, had nothing to do with the people on the stage. The people on the stage are last. The DJs are before everything, but the people on the stage, the MCs are last. So again, this just shows, man, how do I say this politely? This just shows a lack of education on the part of some of the pioneers on how to articulate this culture, man. We got to do better than this. And this is why all this confusion is happening, because we can't articulate this. We're saying things that are just really goofy, if I'm honest with you. And sorry, this is one of them. This is just straight goofy, man. Like, we got to get this history straight. And this, if you weren't a DJ and you weren't an MC, you weren't hip hop. What is that about? But you clearly hear what he's talking about. He's talking about rap. That's what he's talking about when he said hip hop was a black thing. What's he talking about? Rap is a black thing, not the culture, the element. Let's keep going.
You know, it's a subject that I don't touch because I say things like this, and I will tell you, man, I don't. If I was the first one, that means that for the whole 3 years before me, we weren't there.
Rapping.
It was the beginning. When I got there, it was kind of gelling more into, you know how I said? I mentioned it before. When hip hop was invented, Puerto Ricans, Latinos were not there. Day one, we were not there. Day two, day two.
But Rubie, I need to know, when was day one? And were you there on day one to know whether we were there? That's all I'm asking. You're saying we weren't there day one. When is day one? If day one for you is 1520, August 11th, Sedgwick Avenue, 1973, that's not day one. That's first. That's not day one. But then he says, day two? Okay. See the logic? Not following it. Not following it.
Got it. When was day one? That's just like an imaginary.
August 11th, 1973. They changed the birth of hip hop.
Yeah, that's it. It's my humble opinion. That's not day one. You know what I'm saying?
Right. No. I've heard other things too, but when we just celebrated the 50th anniversary of hip hop, was because of the August 11th, 1973.
Right.
That's it. Whether that's the correct date, whether somebody that's the one that is in the books, we're going to go with that one.
And who's the first one to point the finger at August 11, 1973? Who's the first one to kind of like, yo, that's the birth of hip hop? You know?
Well, as far as a single person saying that, I don't know who was the first one to ever say that.
Well, listen, y'all. Listen. You can go and watch the interview for yourself Rubie Dee's interview. You can hear the whole interview. What I'm telling you is that once and for all, putting this to rest, Batch already told you what he was referring to was rap, and he said that the majority of the MCs were black, and that's what he was referring to. And the majority of B-boys, breakers during his time were Latino. That's what he was referring to when he says Colon, Puerto Ricans didn't create hip hop. He was referring to the rap music industry. And then we hear him talk about TT Rock, and he clearly says TT Rock did not teach us anything. TT Rock was not a B-boy. TT Rock died in 75. TT Rock was a graffiti writer and an uprocker who hung with Puerto Ricans and did what Puerto Ricans were doing. And then you hear Rubie Dee clearly tell you he's talking about rap, not the culture. I'm done with this kind of conversation when it comes to this. We're done. It's solidified. You deal with it. You argue with it. I'm so sorry that the comments are not being able to be shown. I'm being rejected as well. I have to figure that out. Grace and peace. Tune in on Monday, 7 p.m., the Hip Hop Masterclass, as we talk about the element of the MCs. Grace and peace.